Hey, fellow evolvers, welcome back to Evolving with Tina. If you're new here, this is the space where we keep it real, raw, and honest. I'm not here because I've got it all figured out. I'm here because I don't. I'm still evolving, still healing, still learning how to choose myself every damn day. And maybe you are too. Because growth, it's not some perfect linear journey. It's messy, it's beautiful, it's exhausting, and it's confusing. Some days we're on fire, and others, we're just trying to make it out of bed. But no matter where you are on your journey, I want you to know this. You're not alone. I am right here with you. And here's what I do know for sure. You're not here by accident. You're here because something inside you knows it's time to do life differently. You've spent years holding it together, showing up for everyone else, and now you're ready to start showing up for yourself. This space is for women who are done being everything for everyone at the expense of themselves. For the ones who know there has to be more joy, more peace, more meaning, and you're ready to claim it without guilt or apology. So, if you've been waiting for a sign, let this be it. This episode is for you because today we're talking about something most people don't say out loud. When the very thing you've been praised for your entire life, being selfless, is the same thing that made you feel invisible. Yeah, that's crazy. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's get into the episode. Okay, let's be real. Women are praised for how much they give. You know, you hear people say, she is such a good mom, a good wife, daughter. She never complains. She's always there. She gives everything and literally never asks for anything. That's literally the gold star we're handed. But what they don't tell you is what that kind of constant giving costs, because eventually you get tired mentally, physically, emotionally. You're holding it all together until your health starts slipping, your light starts dimming, and then what happens? People start whispering, "Have you seen her lately? She really has let herself go. She's just changed so much. She used to be so selfless." Or the flip side, you start doing anything for yourself and suddenly, oh, she's so selfish. You're not the same anymore. You've totally changed. You now think you're like better than everyone. It's like we just can't win. If we give too much, we burn out. If we give less, we're judged. And the message we get, whether spoken or not, is this: be useful, be quiet, don't take up space, and whatever you do, don't need or ask for anything. So, how did we get here? How did we end up believing that being a good woman means being exhausted, resentful, and invisible? It's not a personal failure, it's like cultural conditioning. So, psychologists even have a name for it. I'm probably not pronouncing this correctly, but it's feminine coded self abnegation. It really, that's just like a fancy way of saying from the time we're little girls, we're trained to put everyone else first. We're taught that be nice, not assertive, be helpful, not demanding, be agreeable, not too much. Our worth becomes tied to how needed we are, how much we give, and how little we ask for. And here's where it gets a little deeper. Research by Dr. Brene Brown shows that women actually feel shame when they prioritize themselves. Like, how crazy is that? Because we've been taught that wanting something for ourselves makes us less worthy of love. But here's what no one tells you. Chronic selflessness doesn't lead to peace. It leads to burnout. When your life becomes a series of tasks for everyone else, when every ounce of your energy goes outward and nothing flows back in, you start to disconnect from yourself. And that's when the resentment builds, the exhaustion sets in, the spark starts to fade, and you've been left wondering, what the fuck happened to me? So, a couple episodes back, I received an email from a lady that talks about so I touched on some of this stuff in my episode, and she reached out and she was like, Tina, can you talk more about this? I'm a hands-on mom, a supportive wife. I'm doing all the things, but I feel like I'm disappearing. I'm exhausted all the time, and I don't even know how to take time for myself without feeling guilty. And the second I read that, I thought, holy shit, I have been there. And actually, I still visit that place more often than I'd like to admit. But because for years, that was my life. I was working full time, raising kids, running the house, trying to be the loving wife, an attentive mom, a dependable employee, a good friend. And somewhere along the way, I stopped checking in on myself. I didn't even notice I was disappearing until it was already gone. Literally, by the end of the day, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want to be needed anymore. But the guilt always kicked in. What if the house falls apart? What if someone feels let down? What if I finally say no and, it makes me look like a bad mom or wife? And then I realized, what the heck? I had literally built my entire life without me in it. I was showing up for everyone else except myself, and it took a super huge toll on me emotionally, mentally, physically. I literally gained over 100 pounds. I was severely depressed. My blood pressure was dangerously high. I developed fibromyalgia. I literally was just not taking care of myself at all. But what hit the hardest wasn't just the weight gain and the health problems. It was the worthlessness that I felt underneath it all. Because from the time I was a little girl, I was taught, without anyone actually saying it directly, that people could take from me without my consent, that my body wasn't fully mine, that being good meant being quiet, compliant, and easy. And so I grew up believing that my worth came from how I looked and what I gave, not who I was. And when my body changed, when I was no longer the pretty girl or the helper or one who had it all together, I felt like I had nothing left to offer. And that's super heartbreaking because when you've been taught that our value comes from our usefulness or our appearance, we lose sight of our truth, that we are worthy just as we are, even when we're tired, even when we're sick, even when we're messy, emotional, or not holding it together. But I didn't know that at the time, obviously. I just knew that I felt empty, like a shell of myself. And I know I'm not the only one who's ever felt that way. But here's the part no one tells you. You can love your family and still need time away from them, okay? You can be a good mom and just not want to be touched. You can be a supportive wife and still need space to hear your own thoughts. It's not like one or the other. You can care deeply and you can care for yourself at the same time. It's not being selfish, it's being whole. And no, caring for yourself isn't about bubble baths and spa days, although those are great things. It's so much deeper than that. It's about radical self-respect. It's about deciding, hey, you know what? I matter too. For me, coming back to myself didn't happen overnight. There wasn't this big, huge, aha moment. It was a series of tiny, quiet decisions, like saying no when I want to, taking walks without explaining why, letting the house stay messy and not feeling bad about it, or wearing clothes that made me feel good even when my body had changed, or getting honest about how I felt without sugarcoating it to make others feel comfortable. And the biggest one, asking myself one question over and over again. hey, what do I need today? And then actually listening to it. That question saved me, I swear. It just reminded me that my voice mattered, that my needs weren't a burden, that I was allowed to exist outside of my roles as a mom, sister, wife, friend. And here's the ripple effect that people don't often talk about. When you start choosing yourself, you're not just like healing you, okay? You're modeling something healthier for your children, your family, and even your friends. You're showing them that it's possible to love others deeply and still take care of yourself. That there's a healthier way to be a woman that includes rest, boundaries, joy, and your presence, okay? Because every time you say, I matter too, you're not just like reclaiming your energy, you are reclaiming your life. And you're giving the people around you permission to do the same. So just remember that, okay? So I'm just going to leave you with some final thoughts. And obviously, I want to give you a weekly challenge this week too. So if no one's told you this lately, you don't have to earn your rest, okay? You don't have to apologize for needing time, and you sure as hell don't need permission to take care of yourself. You were never meant to run yourself into the ground just to prove you're worthy. And you were never meant to carry it all while quietly falling apart on the inside. And yes, people might notice when you start doing things differently. They might say, oh, she's changed. You know what? Let them, because you have changed. You're no longer okay with disappearing to make everyone else comfortable. You're no longer willing to live a life that leaves you out of it. You're learning to take up space, to trust your voice, to give yourself the love you've given so freely to everyone else. And that's not selfish. That's your fucking evolution. Okay? Because when you rise, the people around you will rise too. When you choose yourself, you give every woman watching you, your daughter, your sister, your friends, permission to do the same. Okay, so here's your challenge this week. Pick just one thing that's just for you, not for your kids, not for your partner, not because it's productive or impressive, whatever. It's one thing that brings you joy, peace, stillness, or maybe even just breathe, okay? Schedule it, honor it, protect it like it matters because you fucking matter, all right? And when the guilt creeps in, punch that shit in the fucking face, okay? Because it probably will, okay? You just need to remind yourself that you are not being selfish. You're finally coming home to the woman you've always meant to be. And she deserves to be seen, deserves to be chosen by you. So, I got a little heated there, but sometimes I get super passionate about some of the things that I'm sharing. So if this episode hit home for you, if you saw yourself in my story or felt a lump in your throat at any point, I'd love to hear from you. I absolutely love getting messages from you guys. It literally makes my entire day. So you can email me at talk@evolvingwithtina.com or even just send me a DM on Instagram, The Evolution of Tina. I just love hearing from you guys and the stories that you're sharing with me and that this is resonating with you. And if you know a woman who's been feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or like she feels like she's losing herself, please send this her way. Let's keep lifting each other up, one honest conversation at a time. And one more thing before we go, I'm now taking applications for my Become Her Now 6-week beta coaching program. This is for the woman who's ready to stop putting herself last and start stepping into the life she knows she's meant for. So if that's for you, check the show notes and apply there, and I'll be honored to walk with you through this next chapter. So until next time, my beautiful evolvers, keep evolving, Keep glowing and never stop showing up for yourself because you matter. Much love.